All right, guys, they did it. They did it, and I don't just mean keeping the season alive. The Sea Dragons won today, moved to 6-3 on the season, keeping hope alive for next week, still in the playoff race. They didn't just do that. They had full control of a game today. More than any other game they played this season, and they played some good games. They've done some good things, but today, more than any game I've seen them play before, they were in full control. And honestly, the only thing that kept this from being a 40-point type blowout kind of game is just one or two little fluky things that just didn't quite bang our way that 9 times out of 10 do. Like, we looked like the far better team out there today. We did. So, what I can say is that not only did the team keep their playoff hopes alive, but they proved how good they can be. They looked like they could be the best team in the XFL based off the way they played today. So, there's confidence. I have a lot of confidence after this game. Like, we got a game next week, last game of the regular season. I have full confidence right now we're going to take care of business. The only question is, do we get the help that we need? And we'll talk about that in a minute. But what the Sea Dragons did today was go on the road into St. Louis. Underdogs, significant underdogs, 3.5 points, and dominate. 30-12, and honestly, I don't even think that tells the full story. There was a pretty obscene 12 to 14 point swing in that game where we had the long touchdown. Gets called back on a face mask or holding or whatever it was. I think it was actually a face mask. And then we punt it, and they go 90 yards down the field in like 5 plays. And all the air just kind of leaves the room when that happens. I just was like, oh no, is that really going to be the turning point of this game? But fortunately for us, it wasn't. And even with that insanely painful turn of events, even with the weekly Ben DiNucci end zone interception, which, by the way, I don't even really think that one was his fault. Even with that, we win this game by almost 20 points. We win this game by 2 scores, 2 big scores, more realistically, 3 scores. We had the penalty on the field goal kick that took 3 points off the board, and still, even with all that stuff going on, we looked like the far superior team. And I'm not saying we are, but today we looked like it. Today we look like a team that could win the championship if they get in. So we'll see if that happens. But what I can say right now is even if things don't go our way next week, this is a really good team, and I'm happy to see it. Offensively, let me just say this. Even if this season doesn't end in the playoffs, Ben DiNucci has done wonders for my confidence in him. He had the one pick today where, honestly, I think Josh Gordon needs to do a better job fighting for that ball. I'm not that upset about that throw or play. To me, it's just kind of whatever. I'm not really going to trip about that one as much as I am his other interceptions. That was not just like, oh, chuck it up and just hope something crazy happens. No, that was genuinely just, I feel like I have a mismatch with Josh Gordon on the outside. I'm throwing it up to him, and it didn't work out. So he played a great game, made a lot of big throws, converted 3rd and long multiple times, ran for yards. He is now apparently the leading rusher of all quarterbacks in the XFL. So he's doing great stuff with his legs. He had the clinching touchdown where he runs a dude over at the goal line. I thought Ben DiNucci, it's like every week I feel like he gets a little bit better, a little bit better. And I feel a little bit better about him being the long-term XFL quarterback for the Sea Dragons. Obviously, he has no real NFL upside, so it's not like he's going to get called up to the big leagues, I don't think. So he can be our quarterback for as long as he's wanting to play in this league. But I'm really liking that dude. Shout out to our receiver core. All 3 guys made plays. Josh Gordon, I think, he made the big play right before half and then gets called back on the holding on the left tackle, where it's a great catch where it just looks like, hey, I'm bigger than you and I can go get this ball and there's not much you can do about it. That's the kind of stuff we need to use Josh Gordon on. You saw some good stuff from Blake Jackson and Pearson. There were a couple of drops from Jackson, but overall, excuse me, and that was great. Shout out to Pip Lindsay for coming in late in the season and contributing. Nothing huge, of course, but he's out there grinding, getting things done, making positive things happen for this offense. Offensive line today was not as good as it's been in previous games in the pass blocking. DiNucci did get hit a few times, got sacked a little bit. Usually that doesn't happen. Run blocking was pretty good, though. I like what we brought to the table in terms of our run blocking. That was a positive. Excited about that. It seems like we've just really found a bit of a rhythm on offense, and it's too bad that it took a little bit and it cost us those first 2 games. But I can definitely sit here right now and say, hey, if you go back into the XFL season in 2024 with this offense, I feel like great things are going to happen. And today, we came very close to seeing the best version of themselves. I mean, they had points taken off the board 3 times by penalties, and they still put up 30 points on a team that may very well go to the playoffs. And the defense, I mean, basically everything meaningful happened within that first 20 minutes or so, right? Like, we had the opening drive field goal, and then we had the 90-yard drive, and I was like, oh no, is this going to, as it looked like one of those Sea Dragons games where the offense can't get out of their own way and the defense just doesn't play well, and that would probably end our season, and then the defense just locked down. They had the big turnover right after the DiNucci interception to make that interception basically not matter. They got some QB pressure on McCarron. Good job collapsing the pocket. I thought they tackled pretty well. They hit hard. That's the thing that I think you really take away from a game like this. The defense was hitting hard today. They played like a team that knew they had to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. And that's all you can ask for with a team, I think. When you know that you're playing for all the marbles, they looked like a team that was playing for all the marbles today. And I love it. I respect it. And I'm really happy that we at least got that. We at least get this Week 10 final regular season game potentially meaning something. And, yeah, this defense, I don't know if they're the best defense in the XFL. I do feel like the defenders are probably a little bit better. But at the same time, there have been some games where they have looked completely dominant. And today wasn't even their best game, but the way they locked down in that second half, holding the Battlehawks to 3 points, getting all that QB pressure, tackling well, and even getting that big-time takeaway to basically, it felt like secure the game. I know it wasn't literally securing the game, but it really felt like that one put the game away. They've come a long way. And obviously it's a little bit awkward saying that after what happened last week against the Defenders, but that's a really good Defenders team. I'm not really going to slam them for that. It was unfortunate, and it may very well be the thing that costs us a playoff spot in the long run. But I do feel like this defense has overall been a positive impact on this season. And again, if we can keep things together this offseason, even if we don't make the playoffs this year, I'm feeling extremely good. I feel like this Sea Dragons team has shown the potential to maybe be the best team in the league next year now that they've gotten things going. 2 of our 3 losses came in the first 2 games when we couldn't get out of our own way. Today, I mean, yeah, there were definitely some moments where it felt like we couldn't get out of our own way. We took points off the board with penalties like 3 times. But at the same time, the Battlehawks were honestly the team that looked like they couldn't get their discipline down. They were picking up so many penalties. So in an XFL game, it wasn't us that looked like the team that didn't know how to put it together. So my understanding is that the Sea Dragons need to win next week, which I have a lot of confidence in. I'm not worried about that. I do believe that we will find a way to win next week. The only question is, I believe we need the Battlehawks to lose, which they're playing Orlando. Not a great team. Not great odds there. It's unfortunate that it's come to this. But that's the situation we find ourselves in, and it is what it is. I mean, look, there is a very realistic scenario, maybe even the likely scenario, where the Sea Dragons are 7-3 in an 8-team league, where 4 teams, half the league makes the playoffs, and their 3 losses were with less than a minute left at the 1-yard line, where, we were going in for the game-winning touchdown and we fumbled at the 1. You had a buzzer-beating field goal to win by 2. And then last week you had the 2-point conversion to lose, failure to lose by 1 with 30 seconds left. So 3 losses by the skin of your teeth. Now, some of our wins have been very close as well, obviously. We had the Hail Mary Josh Gordon win, or basically a Hail Mary. But bottom line is, this team is clearly one of the 4 best teams in the XFL. And if they don't get into the playoffs, that's too bad. That really is. They in a vacuum, if this was a divisionless league where just the best 4 teams get in, we would get in easily. We would probably already be clinched because we're clearly an above average XFL team with the way we're playing right now. But I'm not going to get too hung up on that. It is what it is at this point. We're in an unfortunate situation in our division where we lost 3 games in the division to the 2 teams that are ahead of us right now. And at the end of the day, you can't say that we deserve it more than those 2 teams. The Defenders beat us twice. The Battlehawks split with us. I do think we're a better team than the Battlehawks. I do. I think that the fact that we put it on them so badly today proves that at least right now we're a better team. But you can't say that we deserve it more than them necessarily. Now, obviously, if we win and they win next week, it comes down to a tiebreaker, which is, there's a little bit of luck involved there when we beat them by 18 points and they beat us by 2, and that's not the tiebreaker. But look, we should have been able to beat the Defenders once, and we didn't get it done. So, I'm not going to get too hung up on it. By the way, there's a rumor next year that the XFL and the USFL will merge AFL, NFL style. So probably at that point, things get expanded out a little bit to where it's not just the top 2 in each division. And this year just kind of becomes a weird aberration. But hope remains alive. I'm excited. See you guys next week. Go Sea Dragons.